Welcome to Irina's Avenue. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for shining a light on empowerment and what it's like to get back on your feet after a long-term relationship ends.
Yes. So today's topic, tell us about it.
Well, today's topic is about getting your mind, emotions, and your heart organized again after life falls apart and after your heart is broken.
Wow. And tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, I am a life reclamation and transitions coach. What I do is I help people to really pull it together and go deep inside themselves and then come out on the other end knowing who they are, what they stand for, and operating from a place of deep trust and their soul essence, where before it might have been a little cloudy, or that's just what happens when we go through things that are really hard, is we lose ourselves a little bit, and we may have lost ourselves also within the relationship that fell apart. So I just help people sort that out and really stand in their power and in their divine essence after things get crazy in life.
That's beautiful and much needed for sure.
Yeah, I learned by going through this myself, partly. I feel like I made choices in my life that it fell apart because I was ready for a massive shift and a massive change. And so not only do I teach these things because I developed them for other people, but I took myself through that process as well.
That's beautiful.
Well, and Irina, I'm a big fan of physical change. I was a personal trainer and a meal prep coach before I dived into relationships with other and with self. And I realized that the most potent thing in someone's life and in the results that they're getting in life was mindset. So that's why I am an advocate for that. And that's why I do what I do.
Does that involve some mind shifting?
Absolutely, it does, because the way that we experience the world and see the world has everything to do with what's going on inside of us at all times. So our beliefs,
Yes.
mostly our beliefs. And we have this internal operating system. It's kind of like in a computer, like a CPU, where you don't think about the reactions, they just happen, which is the basic tenet of neurolinguistics programming, or NLP, is that these things are automatic. And actually, we have this awesome brain. It tries to make sense of everything. And so it sorts all the information and experiences that are coming in into little chunks. And we get to have that operating system in our lives. And sometimes it works great, and other times it absolutely sabotages us. So it's good to take a dive into it every now and then and do a thorough inspection and little cleanup.
Mm. Do you think it's true that the biggest function of our brain is to keep us safe and to keep us alive?
Personally, yes, I do. When we just did an exercise in our fundamentals of intuitive leadership and mentoring group, and I took a look at the characteristics of myself that I really, really liked, and then the ones that I really didn't like. And when I followed the thread all the way back to why I do what I do, it basically came down to survival and security. So we have this deep need for safety, for our environment to feel like it can sustain us, even in this house. Like, I think about our homes a lot. There's an essence of a home. You have a roof over your head, you have these four walls, nobody can see in, you have a safe space to be you. And I think that our minds are a lot like that. They create this little house, or this
Mm.
little structure for ourselves so that we can operate in the world and feel like we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely fascinated about the brain, how it functions, and learning about it. And, my realization is that none of us are born with any kind of manual to this complicated machine, right?
Well, there is and there isn't. We don't have a written manual, but if we've lived long enough to have a story, the story is the manual
Mm.
because the story brought us to this point in time in our life. And all of the things we're experiencing, both good and bad, are the map. So the things that are just not working and where life feels yucky and relationships aren't working, the thing that's great about that is it's good information because it will show you the way and it will show you what's going on inside of you if you have a little guidance.
Yes, and you've said the experiences are stored and the memories are stored. And I feel like in our life, we tend to make decisions based on past experiences. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people would call that intuition. I distinguish deep intuition from that experiential intuition. But yes, anything that we've experienced before feels normal to us, normal.
Mm.
And our brains are doing that thing where they try to establish normal all the time. So it's a little trick, but we try to go back to that homeostatic state without even thinking.
Yes. So for me, that's where the mindfulness comes in and becoming aware of some of these things and learning.
Yeah,
So can you tell us a little bit about mindfulness? Do you practice that?
I definitely practice that. I've noticed in myself something that I do is I like to keep a calm, safe environment because I function better from that place. But actually, it can flip on me and it can actually be more of like a controlling behavior. But what is especially useful if you can't control your external environment, because sometimes we can't, sometimes shit is just happening, then at that point, you really need to be aware of your emotions and listen to them kind of like they're talking to you. Really, it is part of that map and it's telling you where to look. And those emotions can even be physical elements in your body. And when you're aware and you know how to go inside, ask and have that conversation with yourself and with your own body and your own system, life gets to be better because you're less confused and you know why things have come up and you can navigate them much quicker instead of staying stuck.
Hmm. And speaking of emotions, in an ending of a long-term relationship, a lot of us feel heartbroken. What is that pain in our body? What does that feel like? What is it?
Yeah, heartbreak is something that is quite a challenge. When we do emotional clearing at the level of the heart, I'm always listening for areas in somebody's life where they're disorganized or discombobulated because when our heart has been wrecked, oftentimes our environment is also a mess.
Mm.
It's difficult when you're carrying that pain to organize yourself and to organize your life. And so, because you've fallen apart in here, usually there are signs around you in your immediate environment that are also falling apart.